We're going to start off with John Gruss. John, this is story number one. We're going to go to you on this piece coming out of the South Florida Business Journal. I will read you the headline, first couple graphs, and I want you to provide some context. Headline: Stalled Miami condo trades in deed in lieu of foreclosure. And here's the first couple graphs, John. The developer of the incomplete Arbor condominium in Miami's Coconut Grove transferred the property deed in lieu of foreclosure. Anybody doesn't know, Coconut Grove is a wealthy enclave located in the city of Miami. It's effectively one of the first communities that was actually set up down here in at least Miami-Dade County for those people who are transplanting down here. So again, developer of the incomplete Arbor condominium in Miami's Coconut Grove transferred the property in a deed in lieu of foreclosure. Second graph: Miami-based 3034 Oak Park LLC, managed by Nicholas Haman, transferred a 35,850 square foot site at 3034 Oak Avenue to Arbor Grove Development LLC, managed by Pembroke Pines-based attorneys Isaac Kazi and Stephen Amster. The document states this is a deed in lieu of foreclosure in exchange for the lender releasing a $21 million guarantee against the seller, but the original loan remains in place on the property. At the same time, original lender Trust Capital transferred the $21 million loan to Fort Lauderdale-based Oasis Investment Trust. Arbor Grove Development assumed responsibility for repaying that loan. The 48-unit Arbor broke ground in 2017. Much of the 5-story structure is standing, but it hasn't been fully completed. Mr. Gruss, 2017, this project began. It's a small project, 50 units or so, give or take. It's only about 5 stories, 6 stories or so. It doesn't normally take 6 years, even with a pandemic, in order to build one of these buildings. So my question to you is this a sign of what's going on in the market? Maybe some developers don't have the cash to go forward and follow through, or there may be something else going on here, because 6 years for a 50 unit building seems a little excessive. What say you, Mr. Gruss?
Yeah, I mean, this is a real head scratcher. I had to reread the story a bunch of times and do a little digging around. Because I mean, who's not making money in this market? I mean, really, from 2017 through the pandemic. I mean, yeah, there were like increased construction and labor costs, and that might have eaten into profits. But I mean, you can set up contracts that account for that. Yeah, I just don't understand how somebody could not make money in that time period. I mean, it's it's kind of a head scratcher, and I don't know if it's just I really don't know, to be perfectly honest. Everybody else making a buttload of money. Why couldn't these guys do it?
Mr. Gruss, if you remember, there was another situation where there was a developer putting up townhouses in and around Coconut Grove, had a bunch of properties that he had pre-sold. Name escapes me, but we've dealt with it on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think it ended up going to, I don't want to say the B word, but ultimately it ended up going to the court. Some of the people put down deposits. Some of the people had lent money. Everybody wanted the product. The product was never finished. So I guess my question to you is, what's going on in Coconut Grove? I thought everybody who moved to South Florida wants to live in Coconut Grove. It's got all the trees. It's got the history. It's got the bohemian type of vibe. It's got all the private schools. Why can't you be successful in Coconut Grove?
It could have been a number of things. I mean, the product could have been mispriced. In other words, perhaps they didn't price it right during pre-sales, and construction labor costs caught up with them because, as we all know, labor and supplies really went through a huge steep curve, especially during COVID. So they may have been caught flat-footed. But, in a lot of contracts, you can account for those kinds of costs. And I just don't understand, how you cannot make money. I mean, it's either mispricing, the contracts for construction did not account for rising costs, or it's just plain incompetence. I mean, the other thing too is, I've lived here in Miami now 5 years, and there are a lot of, let's just say, regulatory hurdles. I'll put it nicely. And perhaps the right people didn't get the benefit that they expected, and perhaps it got stalled in the permitting process. And perhaps some people didn't get what they expected. And so there could have been some of that too. Of course, I don't know.
You don't know. And before I open up to the floor, if anybody else wants to comment, let me just sort of provide a little color for what Mr. Gruss was referring to. Our mayor in Miami, there are some allegations. Supposedly there's an investigation underway about a developer who was looking for some sort of, let's say, some very kind handling in order to get a project through from a zoning and permitted perspective. And a bunch of money was basically being provided on the consulting fee. So that I think, generally speaking, a lot of people down here think, or they're not surprised if there's allegations that certain politicians are sort of pushing things through if they're compensated for that. I'm not saying a name. I think a lot of people know who it is. They can all read the story, but that's the investigation that's going on currently. So that being said, Mr. Fakler or Rebecca, anybody want to comment? How are you not successful building a condominium, a brand new project in Coconut Grove that began before the pandemic and is still unfinished and ultimately had to be turned over in a deed in lieu? Anybody want to respond?
Yeah, I think, here's the thing. Miami is known for shady people and for business owners, right? Who don't make very sharp investments. And there's not enough. What I take away from this is that there's not enough homework being done on these developers. So the Miami Herald has been on top of this coverage. My colleague Linda Robertson actually covered that other Coconut Grove developer.
Yes.
And that's the theme that we continue to see, that when we're seeing an issue with a project, it's not that Miami is a bad place to invest. It's not that, Coconut Grove of all places is a bad place to build. In fact, it's one of the most desirable neighborhoods in all of Miami-Dade County where people want to live and where a lot of wealthy people live. It's the fact that when you have these developers that go bust, that do very poorly on a project, the question becomes, well, who are these characters, and was there enough homework done on them? What's interesting, I want to just bring up to this discussion is that I looked at the article, and Isaac Codsey is one of the partners who acquired this building. And Codsey, for those who don't know, is the brother of Dan Codsey, the head of Miami World Center, which is a very successful project. So what this tells me moving forward is that this is likely going to be a successful project, because it's in safe hands, in hands that have a lot of real estate connections and a lot of real estate experience.
That's a great point, Rebecca. I'm glad you said that about the Codsey. Yeah, Dan Codsey started off building, well, he's down here in Greater Downtown Miami. He put up the Paramount Bay, I think it is, located over in the Edgewater area, and then followed suit with Paramount Miami World Center. So yeah, great point.